Will Smith is a simp and a beta male for slapping Chris Rock. The reason why I'm actually going to call him a simp for slapping Chris Rock, because for one, it's like Jada Pinkett Smith for the last 2 years have been dragging Will Smith in the mud. She literally has been like ridiculing him, like literally making him bad, and it's crazy how Chris Rock said the joke and Will Smith laughed at it. Then all of a sudden he looks over at Jada. Now all of a sudden he want to get up and try to prove how much of a man he is. And when I saw it, I still do believe that the slap was real and stuff like that. But it's like, yo, Will, this woman been having entanglements. This woman has been mocking and mocking you, ridiculing you the whole entire time. The red table talk, making you look bad. Now, don't get me wrong. Both of them are in an open relationship. Both of them are in an open relationship. Both of them have been doing some crazy things. But to see Will Smith talking about you want to protect her honor, it is nothing honorable about Jada Pinkett Smith, especially by the way how she's been acting. You feel me? She's the same woman that was telling Aisha Curry that, you know, you want to still be more desirable and stuff like that. This woman literally embarrassed this man all over national television. And to see something like that, I got to give it to Chris Rock. He handled that thing well. You feel me? He handled it well. But to see, you know what I mean, Will Smith to act like that, you definitely got to hold this L on that one, though, bruh. This man really needs, like the girl Pink But Lesser said, he needs simp prevention. Really, really bad. I mean, to see that kind of behavior to defend a woman like a Jada Pinkett Smith, I bet you any amount of money, if that was like one of them Rosenbergs or Eisenbergs or Weinstein, he wouldn't have did nothing like that. He would have laughed it off.
Where was all the strength when August Alsina was beating the doonies off of your wife, my nigga? Like blowing her back out, breaking it in half, like Bane and Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get it, bro.
We gotta talk about this, man. We gotta talk about this. Now that the shock of the entire situation has subsided, I gotta give my honest opinion about this. Right? Because I went back and I looked at his speech. And there was a couple of things about Will Smith's speech that caught my attention. Shout out to Derek. He said that Laverne Cox just threw that entanglement-ish right in his face. Imagine him putting hands on Alphabet Crew. Canceled quick. Oh, he mad now? Shout out to Link. He said Will should have did that scream he be doing before the slap. So, I'm asking the question. Is Will Smith now the poster child for simpery? Is he the poster child for simp enforcers everywhere? Shout out to Mr. Palmer.
With regards to this message that they put out here. Will says in this post, me and Jada Pinkett Smith got all dressed up to choose chaos. The caption stated, let me read that to you one more time. Me, Jada Pinkett Smith, got all dressed up to choose chaos. Very interesting. 3 hours later, the second response under Smith's name appeared seemingly posted after the incident with Rock following a joke directed at Pinkett Smith's shaved head. Last year, she announced that she would shave her hair after an alopecia diagnosis. You can't invite people from Philly or Baltimore anymore, the comment said. Let me read you that one more time. You can't invite people from Philly or Baltimore nowhere. That appeared to be the reference to the home cities of the couple, with Smith hailing from Philadelphia and Pinkett Smith from Baltimore, Maryland. The flippant nature of the remark left many followers troubled, especially now given to what happened Oscar night. That's all you have? You should have apologized to Chris, classless, said one. No excuse for what you did, and the Academy should be ashamed for giving you an award. Oh, shut the fuck up, whoever the hell you are. And allowing you to stay, said another one. You could have handled this very differently. You know, these are some bootlegs that are always so concerned about what white people think. So, never mind them. Smith's Insta comment was posted after his speech where he won the Best Actor Oscar for his portrayal of Venus and Serena Williams' father, Richard Williams, in the film King Richard. He briefly apologized to the Academy during a tearful speech, but made no mention of Rock, and I feel like he should not have. What the fuck for? What the fuck for? Like, who the hell is Chris Rock? Who? Nothing but a goofy-ass, self-hating ass fucking comedian that really deep down hates black people, particularly black women. And it showed in every fucking thing that he did. Anyhow, said he added that he wanted to be the vessel for love. And you know something else? This is just me being me talking. Like, sometimes love comes in the form of kicking your fucking ass and setting you straight, Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, because there's a lot of hard-headed ass people out there that like to do shit their own way and end up with the same fucked up result. I'm just saying, just putting it out there, okay? Says Smith appeared to compare his actions to that of the person he played in King Richard. Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family. I look like the crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. But love will always make you do crazy things. I think with that, maybe bad choice of words, but I got what he meant. Because in the press, like during his heyday, during that time when he was getting his daughters out there and letting them showcase their talents and whatnot, the press rather, they love to vilify the black man. And they hate the black man who is a protector of his family, a lover of his wife, and just the head of the household. They fucking despise that shit because they, also with white women, played a part in trying to break the nuclear black family up. They did everything in their power to do that. So when they see those rare, and I'll say rare, because I didn't grow up with a father, so I just got to include myself in that. Like, families that do have a father, do have a mother, do have children under the home, under one roof, and they work together, they are supportive of one another, cheer each other on, and the man is the protector of that family. It drives them batshit crazy. They don't like that. They love it. They love to see black pain. They love to see black dysfunction. They love to see you without a family, without a good one anyway. And they definitely love seeing you without a father because in their mind, they can't see you as any other way but broken. And they want to pretend or be the fucking saviors in your life. That's why you always see movies out here with the fucking white savior. And if you ever do see the reverse, it's always some magical black person coming out of the fucking woods somewhere to help save a white person, from disaster or near disaster. They love those kinds of stories. They love making themselves feel like the fucking heroes in your life. They love that shit. Because deep down, they are the cause of the breakdown of your families. They are the true villains of the story. Since the beginning of time. So, of course, they're going to have to flip that some kind of way and try to spin that narrative to make it look like they're the good guys. Like, they're just trying to help. They're just trying to make your life a little bit easier, but no, they're not. They just want to stay close by to cause chaos, to cause destruction, death, dismay, and whatever else they can think of. And sometimes, and I hate to say more often than not nowadays, they love to use black people to do their bidding. But I digress. In the entertainment industry, Smith said actors are forced to take abuse as people talk crazy about you. In a statement, the Academy says it does not condone violence in any form. But you showcase it and you fucking award it. So you see the fucking, like, the schizophrenia of it all. You claim you don't condone violence, but yet you give awards to fucking movies that have violence. You see how that shit just does not compute? They would have been better off not saying a goddamn thing, in my humble opinion. Really. Says they don't condone violence in any form. Well, that would include half the fucking movies you'd awarded for, like, ever. But there was no direct reference to Smith and Rock. After the Oscar outburst, Smith headed to the famous Vanity Fair after party and seemed in good spirits. The New York Post reported that Sean Diddy Combs talked to both Smith and Rock. What the fuck for? Don't even know. That's even more schizophrenic than, all of this shit here. But anyway, who agreed to make amends later on in the evening. The Los Angeles Police Department, or I should say the crooked-ass Los Angeles Police Department, confirmed Rock has declined to file a police report, according to Variety magazine. The LAPD investigative entities are aware of an incident between the two individuals during the Academy Awards program. The incident involved one individual slapping another. A statement from the LAPD read, the individual involved has declined to file a police report. If the involved party desires a police report at a later date, the LAPD will be available to complete an investigative report. And that's all they wrote for right now. But I found this very interesting, that they put up a post saying that they're going to create chaos. And she's wearing this beautiful floofy, I'll say floofy because it looked floofy at the bottom, lizard green dress, saying that they were going to cause chaos. And look what ended up happening on Oscar night. Whole bunch of chaos went on, right? And that's still the talk of the town right now. And people are psychoanalyzing, doing think pieces, and doing a whole manner of things. I think we have to look at this from all sides and check and see, like, what news was going on at the time, or what news was breaking at the time of the Oscars. Because at first they were talking about, having some sort of, or talking about the Ukraine, having that included in the ceremony. Barely a mention of that. You saw maybe maybe a couple, or at least what I saw, people wearing the Ukraine pins on their jackets or their dresses or whatnot. I only saw two guys wear one, and that was Tyler Perry and the dude that did The Godfather. Francis, also believe that even though I feel like maybe this might be a distraction, I still don't believe that he should have fucking apologized to Chris. Because number one, or at least I'll just speak for myself, because I stopped fucking with Chris a long time ago. Period. Stopped fucking with him. Ever since I seen the documentary that he did. Because I knew that he was making fun of black women's hair. And knowing how hard it is to find something that is best suited for you, that is catered to you, protective styles. And some women that do have disorders, which makes our hair either thin or fall out. There was no compassion, there was no love, there was no understanding coming from that documentary, or really anything that he had done in his career. That's why we stopped fucking with him. Because all he did was make either black women the butt of the fucking joke or black people overall the butt of the joke. So when I saw Will get up there and smack the fucking shit out of Chris, I was like, damn, I think he was doing that on behalf of us. Like, yay, Will, you know? I felt like he was doing that for all of us on behalf, because I think maybe they are listening. They are listening to us, you know, the black grassroots. Turned out to be a ruse, and all of this was just game, which I really don't kind of believe that it all was, especially not really on Will's part, because I do feel like he was pretty much annoyed with the fact that Chris kept just punching down on Jada, and getting, you know, people getting sick and tired of that shit. I truly believe that it wasn't just the fact that he was, you know, he got fed up with all of the jokes directed at Jada at her expense and at his expense. I feel like Will storming the stage, that was that little boy on the inside that felt so helpless seeing his father beat up on his mom. And he didn't get a chance to do anything at that time because he was small. You know, what could you do as a kid? And over time, you know, people, that shit builds up. And maybe he just got sick and damn tired of it. That was just one joke too many. That was one incident too many. And he had had enough. Maybe he felt like, okay, I'm in a position now. I'm going to get this award. I'm Will Smith. I'm on top of my game. I got X amount of dollars in the bank. If this shit were to stop right now, I would be okay. We would be okay. And maybe he went up there with that thought in mind and said, fuck it. Whatever goes, goes. Along with all the other stuff that I mentioned. And just smacked the shit out of Chris. You come from a broken home where you were bullied or where you witnessed domestic violence on a daily, or if you were the victim of it, whether as a child or a young adult, you know what that feels like. That helplessness, that being backed into a corner to the point where you had no other choice but to fight. And maybe he had that moment where he snapped. Thinking back to that little kid that was helpless and realizing, I don't have to take this shit anymore. I'm going to fight back. I'm grown now. You're going to respect me. You're going to respect my wife. You're going to respect my family. And I'm going to emasculate your ass in front of the whole fucking world. I'm going to punk you the way you try to punk me. And that's what he did.
From the title of my video, you probably scratching your head like, what is she talking about? How could he end Chris Rock's career or the careers of comedians in general? And when this initially happened, as a black woman who wears wigs, who wears weaves, who is 44, and my hair does not grow like it did when I was 20. The minute the joke came across the stage, I already knew what time of day it was. Before Brian even could figure out what the joke was about, I turned to him and I said, why did he say that? She suffers from alopecia. That was the first words came out of my damn mouth. And my husband was like, what? I was like, she suffers from alopecia. She's lost her hair. That's why her head is bald. Okay? So in my mind, I'm like, that's a tasteless joke. So when it initially happened, I'm like, God dog, was that fake? Was that real? When I realized it was real, I was like, damn, he really let it out. He got tired of the jokes. He snapped. in a way from a black man making a comment like that. Like a lot of y'all, Tiffany Haddish said it perfectly, okay, about what G.I. Jane. Y'all have to understand there are cultural differences when it comes to movies like this. Number one, most black people didn't even watch G.I. Jane as young adults. I've never seen the movie. I've probably seen pictures of Demi Moore, but I've never seen that movie, nor was I ever interested. Okay? So don't expect for all black people to get the damn joke or to understand who G.I. Jane is. I see all these people on Twitter talking about, oh, G.I. Jane, she was this hero, she stood for this. Jada should be happy. No. As a black woman, the only thing I remember about G.I. Jane is she had a bald head and she looked like a butch. Okay? So let's keep it 100% correct because this is a different day and time. G.I. Jane was before all of this everything. Okay? Before the Me Too movement. Before being conscious about people's sexuality. G.I. Jane was way before that. So as a young adult, and as a woman now, that's what I remember of it. She had a bald head. So I saw it as disrespectful immediately. I was like, God dog, this is crazy. Now, like I said, let's get to the topic at hand. What could Will have done differently that would have changed the whole entire trajectory of this week? It would change the whole entire conversation of this week. Okay? I sat for the last couple of days, the last 48 hours, and really tried to sit and think. Me and Brian have had tons of conversations about this. And I try to sit and think, what could he have done different? Could he have just sat there and yelled at him like he was yelling at him and never walk up to the stage? Could he have done a fake slap? What could have actually happened differently? And this afternoon it came to me. What I thought he could have done differently, Will should have grabbed Jada's hand right then and there and walked their asses straight out of them damn Oscars. I would have grabbed her and walked out. I would not have said a word because the next award to be given out was his. So imagine walking out of that damn room and his name being called and not being there to accept it. The headlines would have ran on Monday and it would have said, Chris Rock ruins Will Smith's biggest night. And the topic of discussion would have been, when do comedians go too far? Because the next thing would have read, Jada has alopecia. Tasteless joke. This whole entire week wouldn't even be going on right now. This has been a week of gaslighting black people to the fullest, to the max. It happened. It happened on national TV. He put an apology, regardless if you want to accept it, regardless if you think it's real, regardless of what you think it is, it's up to Chris Rock and Chris Rock alone to accept it. It is up to the Academy to accept it. It's not none of y'all court's public opinion to rationalize or think it's not good enough. If he would have picked up Jada and walked out, this is a man with millions of dollars. And on top of that, he's a man that I've been watching his social media, his YouTube like a hawk. And since Sunday, he has gained 2,000 new followers. He has not lost one follower on YouTube. This would have been a totally different story right now. It would have left everybody questioning about comedians. Because in my mind, after seeing the way Joe Rogan is saying things, Jim Carrey is saying things, hell, Alec Baldwin came out of whatever hole he crawled out of today. And this other comedian on Twitter that's been going in, let me pull up his name. And thank you to my subscriber that put his name up, because I didn't even know this was going up on Twitter right now. There's a comedian right now. His name is Tom Segura, a.k.a. Mr. Ladybug. He's on there calling Jada all kinds of bees. He called her a bald-headed bee today. So in my opinion, none of this gaslighting would have been going on. All he had to do was walk out. It would have changed everything. And a lot of people say, well, why should he walk out? I wouldn't have walked out. Let me tell you one doggone thing about me. I remember being in college for x-ray, and I was discriminated against. I was treated horribly for 2 years. I was even hit up on one of my professors that wanted to sleep with me in school, and the school did nothing. Once I got my degree, and I knew I had my degree to go on and do what I wanted to do and what I love, when it came time for graduation, I packed all my shit up and I drove the hell out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana and headed my butt back to Houston, Texas to start working. Why am I going to stand on a stage with a bunch of people that didn't believe nothing I was going through, that didn't sympathize with what I was going through, did not do anything to this professor? So why am I going to sit there? No. Give me my paper and let me roll my ass the hell out of here. I don't know why we sit in these positions, why we sit in these places and spaces, being talked to any kind of way. And the minute you lash out, that one time, this is one time, I see them dragging up all of these different images, all of these old videos associate, Will slap this reporter from the Ukraine. We all know that story. If somebody come kissing on me, and I ain't gave him permission to kiss on me, you better back up. So we go from this kind of slap, and y'all want to talk about a slap like this on the face. Y'all just be digging up stuff, media, to just have news to talk about. I'm a commentary channel. I have my opinions on things. I say things sometimes that people don't like. But when it comes to this level of gaslighting that they on right now, TMZ, it's another level of something undercurrent that is going on right now. What do you think? Because I done talked to a hell of a lot.
I guess for me, it's just
What would you have done?
It's hard to say. I think the reason why is you have to take into consideration their history. So it wasn't the first time, he had said something about both Jada as well as Will. I think it was 2016 that he had said something about them at an award show, and it kind of went as a joke, and nothing was said or done. And then with the whole situation with that night, I think, like you said, if they would have walked out, that would have changed the narrative. But for Will, I truly believe that he was acting in a way of, I've had enough. I mean, so many things are being said, whether there's true or false about them. So many things are said about his kids, just everything. There always seems to be something about the Smith family because now that Bill Cosby has been tarnished, we really don't look to anyone else. The next real successful family, husband and wife, that people tend to look at are the Smiths because they have kids that have their own careers and they're doing their thing. And Will is so positive on social media, as well as everybody grew up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and before that, listening to his music. To this day, if Men in Black comes on, whether it's 1 through 3, we're gonna watch it. But I truly feel that when it comes to Will and this whole situation, nobody's disputing the fact that he shouldn't have done it. But I think the bigger thing is that this was an award show. It wasn't a comedy show. It wasn't the Improv. It wasn't Showtime at the Apollo. It was literally an award show, and I get it. He's a comedian that's coming up there, but there were several comedians that came up there. They did not hit below the belt on anything directly.
Well, not even that. What was the most cringiest part of the award show that I thought everybody was going to talk about the next morning was Regina Hall touching Jason Momoa, touching the other actor. I forgot his name. He played Thanos.
Oh, that was James Brolin.
Yes. She was filling up on them, talking about she gonna go in the back and do COVID testing on them with her mouth and for them to strip off their clothes. That was cringy. I ain't heard nobody say anything about that. That had my skin crawling. Because I was like, this is gonna be all over the news tomorrow. It's gonna be on. So for me to then see that transpire, I even felt like it was almost like a setup. You're gonna put him up there knowing that Will is next, knowing that he's probably going to say a jab at him because they protested a couple years ago. And look what the protest did. Okay? Who was the director and who was producing the show? Will Packer. Who was the host pretty much of the night? You got Regina Hall. You have Wanda Sykes. You have another woman, Amy Schumer. So it did something. It did. Their protest from 6 years ago did something. It made changes in something. So let's not forget that.
But I also believe that even when they have the Oscars, it is a live event, but they do run-throughs to make sure that things are right, like sound, and they have to pick the seating and all these different things. And I find it kind of ironic that the Smiths were smack dab almost in the middle.
In the middle. It was a setup.
Straight where if you're going through and you're doing a line of sight, they would be right there in your line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris Rock as a comedian, he's not like D.L. Hughley that
he's a roaster.
His crowd to go. If D.L. Hughley's comedy is strictly roasting the crowd, they tell you straight up, if you purchase a front row ticket, you're fair game. And I truly believe that at an award ceremony, on such a great night of so many different African American or black people in roles of leadership or in the front row or even doing things along to get the Oscars going, I think it was in bad taste for him to make that joke. Now, even when he made the joke about the gentleman that was going against Will, that, he's praying that he doesn't win because his wife doesn't win, then he definitely can't win. For him to then literally move his eyes across
and go straight to Jada. Who's not being nominated, who was not in any movies.
Exactly.
Why was she then targeted? Because you talked about, I didn't even know Denzel had did Macbeth. So that was new to me. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know he did that. Then you go to somebody else that's nominated, and then you zero on her. Like, well, come on, man.
Even in the joke that he made about Macbeth, he just simply made the joke that Denzel is known for making that comment. You know,
right.
King Kong ain't got nothing on me, or whatever the original comment was that he made in his movie. I think that was the one thing that, even if he did make that joke, that wouldn't be nothing to Denzel because that's what he's known for. But I think at the end of the day, regardless of the fact on if he knew she had alopecia or not, the fact of the matter is, if you know anything about Jada, she's always had a nice hairdo, even from when she first started back in Jason's Lyric. She's always kept a nice do. She's always kept those type of things in place. So for her to choose to cut her hair off, you would think it couldn't have been just for a style reason, because she talked about it back in 2018 that she was suffering with this illness. So it's been out there for over 2-3 years now. But the bigger thing about it is that this is the same Chris Rock who had a whole documentary where he walked around the streets asking African American women and women in general about their hair. So he knows how important hair is to the female, especially in the African American or black culture.
His own child. That's why he made the movie.
Exactly. So he knows how important that is. And for him to then sit there and single her out, like you said, because she didn't have a movie out, she didn't have anything that she was nominated for, she was simply there to support her husband, it would be ill for Will not to try to support her in that moment. So,
I just feel like the support should have been walking out.
Yeah, definitely.
That would have made a huge change in the narrative. Okay?
But we also know that hindsight is 2020.
It is. Hindsight is 2020. I think it's one of those things that on Monday morning, there's two narratives that would have happened. The narrative of him smacking Chris and Will is wrong, which we're currently seeing, or Will sat there, didn't defend his wife, didn't say anything. Oh my God, did y'all see Jada's eyes rolling? Will just sat there laughing, because that's what's being said now. Oh, he laughed. He shouldn't have been that bothered with it. Why did he get up? Oh, all of a sudden Jada felt some type of way, so then he got up. So at the end of the day, about Will being soft, Will being the P word, Jada wearing the pants in the house. And maybe that's the way, Chris was going with the joke about her being like, the man of the house or going to war or something. I don't know what his thought process was on the joke. But at the end of the day, either way it goes, it was going to be said. If not on Monday, in somebody's comedy, it was going to be said at some point. Now, everybody's bringing up the August Alsina. I'm so tired of hearing this today, this week, this night, this evening, whatever time of the day it is. I log onto the internet. I'm so tired of hearing about August Alsina. Go do y'all goddamn research before y'all start bringing up them August Alsina goddamn comments. I'm so serious. I am to my wits end with the August Alsina comments. Number one, it happened years ago. Number two, August brought it up. The one problem I have with the Smiths about the August Alsina situation is I felt Jada thought this was a good opportunity to get ratings on her show, to bring this topic up, because August talked to Angela Yee, told his side, and the way I felt about August Alsina telling his side of the situation was tasteless. I thought August could go sit down somewhere. I thought something was wrong with August. Like, why would you even talk about this stuff? But I feel that the reason why people are making jokes about it now is the Smiths' own fault. Okay? Nobody cared to know about August. Nobody wanted to know the details about August and this entanglement. At the end of the day, this argument that social media has about, well, Will should have kept the same smoke going with August when August said those types of things. How y'all don't know what happened? None of y'all know what happened behind the scenes. If August Alsina had came to the Grammys and Will was sitting there with Jada and Willow and Jaden, and August got on the stage and said, hey, everybody, yeah, I'm joking with this and I'm joking with that one. Oh, hey, Jada. Hi, girl. Yeah, y'all know I slept with Will's wife. Then if Will wouldn't have got up from that seat, if that had happened and he wouldn't have got up from that seat and let August get away with it and then come back a year later and we here at this point and he slaps him, then yes, it's go time about the August conversation. None of that happened. So that argument about August, y'all can go sit down with that bull crap. And I don't even know why August Alsina came out today with a damn comment that made absolutely no damn sense.
Yeah, it's not like he was high or something.
I don't know what was wrong with him.
And it was just...
He needs to go sit down somewhere. He's clout chasing at this point, the way I look at it.
But the main thing that you said about, they should have walked out, that would have been the best thing.
That would have been the best thing.
But at the same token, I feel that as a people, whether you're a fan of his or not, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever you want to call yourself, we have to first look at it from a standpoint of, it's like, why do we feel that it's so easy to pass judgment on this situation right now? Nobody's perfect. We've all made mistakes. We've all said things that maybe we shouldn't have said in the heat of the moment, or might have done something that we regret that we've done. Now, granted, the stage that he was on, the situation was not the best situation. But guess what? We don't know what was going on in his mental during that time. We don't know what was going on between the two of them. If it was one of those things like, well, you don't seem to have my back on things, or whatever the case may be.
I don't think it was nothing.
It could have playing devil's advocate, because at the end of the day, when Will made the comment and made the reference to Serena and Venus Williams' father and how he tried to defend them, it really wasn't a correlating comment.
Okay, hold on one second. Going to Venus and Serena's dad, which I feel Venus and Serena won't come out and make a statement about it. Their daddy already made a statement today. And the dad said in his statement, and I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but he said something to the effect that as the Williams family, they don't condone any type of violence whatsoever. So I feel even within that statement, I was waiting and praying Will would apologize to Chris right then and there. He didn't. Saying that Richard Williams was a fierce protector, yes, he was. When I left out of that theater from seeing King Richard, I had such a sense of pride walking out of that theater, because I was a young girl who watched Venus and Serena play live. I've seen their dad live. I've seen the passion. I know what their story means to hundreds of black girls out there. Okay? But Richard Williams didn't put his hands on nobody that I know of. What Richard Williams did when Venus was being interviewed, he stood up and told the man to chill out. If he felt at any point in time they was being disrespected, he carried them straight out of that arena. So at that point, Will should have carried his wife straight out of that doggone Academy Award.
But then we also remember, if you haven't seen the movie, hopefully it won't be a spoiler because it's been out forever, but even on that one scene when the other daughter of his was getting hit on by those gangsters, remember?
Right.
And he went to his job and got his gun, and he was going to go back and potentially shoot the guy that beat him up in front of his daughters.
Right.
The guy ended up getting shot up by a rival gang or rival dope guy that was with him, and right when he was about to shoot him. So it was kind of like it saved him from that vengeance. So I guess that's why he's encompassing the feeling of, well, we don't condone violence. But in that moment, he was going to be violent because he felt like, I'm tired of getting beat up.
Right.
I'm tired of being embarrassed in front of my daughters.
Right.
All I'm trying to do is get them to be successful in life because he had a goal. He had a plan. So that's where I feel that in Will's mind, that's his correlation. He feels like he has a purpose. And I feel like in the words that he said in the moment, and if Denzel really said it, then that's the best thing that Denzel could have ever said to someone, is that when you're on top, that's when the devil tries to come for you and change your narrative or try to take you out. And we all know that. If you go to church or if you hear anything that the preacher may say, it seems like when things are going their best for you, something really bad may happen and throw you off course, or you may lose your job right when you feel like you're doing the very best that you can, so now you have to struggle.
But even with all of this, here's the thing that is gaslighting the living hell out of me. I am sick and tired of hearing white comedians, white people, comment on this like they know how black people think or what black people been through or how we supposed to act. Okay? Now let me bring it back a little bit. I want black people to hear this and hear this well. Because there are several things I see transpiring on the internet that is burning my living blood. And it has nothing to do with support because these are two black men. Okay? It's nothing to do with support either way. One thing I saw in a video, and shout out to Fumi, because Fumi did an excellent video on this topic. But there was one thing in the video that really made me look at my own life and look at the lives of all black people around this world. And Fumi do with support either way. One thing I saw in a video, and shout out to Fumi, we're in the cars with our moms, and we're getting ready to go in the store. What our moms tell us, don't y'all go in that store and cut up and act a fool in front of these white people. Whenever we're going into a certain situation where it's predominantly white, a restaurant, don't y'all go in that restaurant and cut up and act foolish in front of these white people and shame me. So I heard in Fumi's video where Fumi said, this is a place where you're in your nice Tom Ford suits and it's a room full of, white people. It just tainted the situation as far as black people. Okay? Now, I don't know how she said it in particular, but that's how it rang to me. And it made me sit with that and think. And I want black people to understand when we're moving in places and we're doing things, and this is a cultural thing, we need to stop programming our kids to act a certain way, carry ourselves a certain way in front of white people. Because then when situations happen like this, whatever their thought process of us is going to be that. They already have an opinion about us regardless. So no matter how you act, you could be the best well-kept person. You could be on time. You could be like Will, has been clean cut his whole his whole life. Not perfect, but when it comes to situations like this, and then one thing happens, the DA in Philadelphia said it best. He said, you are not your mistakes. You are not defined by your mistakes. You know what I see when I go out? This just happened on my birthday weekend. When I go out to restaurants, when I go out to stores, when I go out to places, I see white kids, Hispanic kids, Asian kids, Indian kids, everybody but black, running around doing whatever the hell it is they want to do. Out of sight, out of mind to their parents. But our black kids are like toy soldiers in public because the parents have already drilled it into them.